Yeah, I kind of need
Okay,
to tend to it, but I was like, oh, I
everybody.
gotta log in.
Hey, everybody. It's Monday Lunch with Doc Bunny, episode 5, and I'm here with Ritthiphon. And we're gonna be On is a very interesting person to me. For one, he's a U.S. Army combat engineer veteran who spent 5 years. How many years did you spend in the military?
Yeah,
5.
5 years, 1 month.
Yeah.
Not like I was counting or anything. Yes, 5 years. Yeah.
Spent 5 years in the United States Army. He's an EMT, which is emergency medical technician, which takes a lot of training and expertise. And he is also a he also created a business with his parents called Sanit Red Peppers. And here is On Ritthiphon. Hi, On. How are you?
Good morning, Doc. Oh, that's actually Sanit's wok roasted
Excuse
Thai
me.
peppers. Yeah,
Wok roasted. We're
it's
gonna
all
talk
good.
about the wok roasted Thai peppers in a minute. But how are you today? Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
I'm good. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's yeah, kind of gloomy today, but it's
It's a little
nice,
bit gloomy. It's really cold out. It's it's January in Nevada, so we can't complain. He's got the fire pit going, so don't think it's a smoke screen going on. It's cold enough outside to need a fire, and he's got one going. So on I want to talk to you about your rollerblading yesterday because I was checking out your Instagram feed and I saw you
Okay.
just like chilling out, rollerblading. Like, I haven't like seen my rollerblades since like 2004 and you're like just, picking it up.
Oh,
So tell me about, the type of hobbies you have as an entrepreneur.
okay. Yes, you mentioned skating was one of them. I started off rollerblading, actually skateboarding and rollerblading, but rollerblades were faster,
Yeah.
so I just stuck with that, and that was about 15, 20 years ago.
Wow.
And every week I go skating with Las Vegas Bladers. It's a Facebook group, so it's besides the exercise and the skating, there's a support group there too, in a way, because they all have their own lives and stuff, and we all catch up, and they're a different kind of group, but still really supportive.
Wow. I might check that out. It's a Facebook group, right? All right. And so,
Okay, and there are female skaters out there too.
yeah, yeah. I miss skating. That's one of the things I do miss a lot. I miss skating a lot. And so I
Oh,
also
okay.
forgot
I
to
didn't even know that
mention
you skate.
I do skate. I'm a roller skating fool. I haven't really been going to them. Well, I heard Floyd Mayweather might be buying Crystal Palace. And so Crystal
Oh
Palace.
yeah, I heard about that. That's good news for us.
Yeah. And I don't know. I
Hmm.
don't think he's going to keep it a skating rink. He might turn it into a boxing rink. But, just going out there and skating
Oh,
every so
okay.
often. Yeah. It's, yeah, well, that's the change. That's change. So,
Okay.
also too, I forgot to mention that he's a Muay Thai boxer too. So tell me about that. And do you train or just box?
Ooh, I train, and then actually that's one of my main things that I didn't know was gonna turn into a hobby or a lifestyle. Uh, when I joined the army and during high school, right before I left, after I graduated high school, my parents sent me back to Thailand where I stayed at a Muay Thai fight camp. Well, I stayed with my aunt, but I trained out of a Lana Muay Thai. It's old school up in Chiang Mai, northern Thailand. And
Oh
yeah,
wow.
I was kind of miserable back then, but then now I kind of yeah, it's an outlet now, and I get better each time I go to the gym, and that's kind of what one of the things that's my hobbies, but it's a skill based hobby that makes me feel better. Yeah, and I think that's I get a lot of mana or energy from that too.
So you were saying how when you first started, you didn't see it as a hobby, you just felt that's something to do. When did you realize, hey, you know what, I can really get into this? And how long did it take you? Because it sounds like you were reluctant in like doing that camp.
uh It was actually during basic training. Believe it or not, there's some shenanigans that happens in basic
Uh,
training, and
oh yeah.
maybe about half at the beginning, almost to halfway. Every certain people will sometimes you still have people that were bullies when they were civilians, and then when they join the military, then they're no longer bullies and stuff. And it was when we got issued our body armor. Some bullying tactics happened, and I actually gave him a flying knee to the chest because we were testing out our body armor. And then after
Yeah.
that, people kind of stopped making fun of me, and I was like, hey, my hands and feet remember how to do these moves. And
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of started in the army and kind of helped me got promoted too, but not that could be for a different time. But yes, martial arts is one of my favorite hobbies. Muay
Wow.
Thai and boxing and jujitsu and Krav Maga.
Okay, so I wouldn't ask you to rank them because it's really hard. Like if you take like a specific specialty. So like if you when you do these martial arts, is there like a black belt system or a belt system in place, or how does that work?
Oh, the belt system works in certain martial arts, like karate. I know uses it, jujitsu. It's kind of in a way where you have the color of your belt's kind of like a bookmark on what you studied and learned. But in Muay Thai, there's really not a ranking system. It wasn't until recently that women were actually allowed to fight in the ring. That's actually a pretty new thing, and I
Really?
just learned about that too. So
Wow.
yes,
So the first
Muay
women
Thai, there's really no belt system or anything.
so so it's fair to say that the first Muay Thai fighters right now, the first women Muay Thai fighters are going to be pioneers in the field. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. I
Girls,
mean,
if
you
you're
have
into Muay Thai,
yeah, things like yes, like UFC and another one like One Championship. They're really promoting female fighters too. And One Championship actually, besides MMA, mixed martial arts, they have kickboxing and Muay Thai for women, but like sometimes in 4-ounce MMA gloves. So that's new too. And before in Thailand, women had to fight in a separate ring that was actually lower than the men's rings. So but now they're just fighting in the same ring but being respectful still, and while
oh
trying to
wow,
maintain some sort of tradition, but change
oh
is there
no.
too.
That's good when you can mix tradition and with blending in new innovative techniques. That's the best way to go for everything. Okay, so you told me a story that you went to a silent retreat, and I went to a silent retreat, and it was really
Hmm.
life changing. And as a business owner, I use meditation and as a way to clear my mind whenever I need to, make a decision or I need to pray or whatever. So tell me about your experience at the silent retreat.
Wow, I my what I took from it was I wish I would have went to this retreat or a meditation school before I joined the army. So,
Oh
and I
wow.
think that's and if I have if I don't get a lot of sleep and I have something to do early the next day, I'll actually get up 10 minutes a little bit earlier so I can maybe sit there and meditate for 7-8 minutes before getting the day started. So it's almost like a life hack. You're
Yeah.
kind of turning off the computer, but you're kind of not. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The meditation center I went to is on Eastern and Windmill. Yeah, it's a Buddhist meditation center, and it's the monk there, the head monk, is actually has a PhD in oh,
Like Buddhist studies, like
um
it's like theology
yeah,
or
it's kind of like, yeah, theology, psychology, or something like that.
yeah, it's
Wow, it's, yeah.
theology. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like drawing blanks right now.
I've got
I
one
just
of
went there
those.
to learn meditation and stuff. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just meditation can be so calming, especially when when you have decisions to make and decisions that affect other people as well. So let me ask you about your time as the EMT, because that's where I guess you do a fair amount of medical training and everything else, but it's just like you. How do you keep balance during all that? Because that's a really high intensity lifestyle, and to be centered, it would be like key for any technician to do. So how did you do that?
Oh, actually, that's a trick question because I didn't do that. um,
Oh.
I just worked all the time. Actually, I worked in the medical field, working the streets, as an EMT for a couple years before. In I think 2017, late 2017, that's when I had my heart attack. Actually,
Oh yes,
hmm
yes.
so
And that.
I was just burnt out. Not only that, but I was actually dating someone, and that relationship wasn't very supportive. So see, just goes to prove you don't even need alcohol to make bad decisions. Just because somebody looks nice on the outside, they might not be like that on the inside. And well, anyways, that's just I was having a rough.
Pers-
It was a
yeah.
challenging job, and then I wasn't in a very supportive, supposed quote unquote romantic relationship. And the third side of the battle that everybody, that doesn't see or hear about is the things that I can't show you. Like how I actually have challenges sleeping still, ever since my first
Mhm.
tour in Iraq, because I was on quick reaction force on both tours, and my sleep's just been messed up. And I was one of
Yeah.
those EMTs that worked
Yeah.
I had the aluminum foil on the windows, so yeah.
Yeah. You have to you have to you have to practice sleep hygiene. So tell me when you started. So you started this pepper business with your parents, is that right? So tell me about how that got started, the whole shebang. Because it's really great to see family
Wow.
owned businesses, to like, family owned businesses coming together as a family, and this is what we're doing. So tell me how that got started.
Oh, okay. This maybe even like 10, 15 years ago when I would always ask for her peppers, because you ever ate pizza with and you like to add crushed red peppers. I it sucks when you don't have crushed red peppers, or if you eat a burrito and you don't have hot sauce or tacos, and stuff. So I actually started taking a lot of my mom's peppers, and then during college too, and she would always yell at me like, "Hey, why are you taking all my peppers?" And then she finally taught me how to cook it about yeah, a few years ago, and it sucks. You would be coughing all the time. It just feels like you're cooking a wok full of pepper spray, because that's one of the ingredients, capsaicin, in those bear sprays and stuff.
Oh, that's like a
So it
oh
actually started
oh okay, never mind. I won't ask that now.
years ago.
Oh wow.
So
So
that's how it started. Was just it was just really good, and yeah. And
wow.
she would send us Thai beef jerky to and peppers and Thai ingredients to when I was deployed to Iraq too.
Oh
And my
wow.
soldiers would always ask about it. Be like, "Hey, Sergeant Ritt, when's your mom sending those jerkies again? The Thai jerky. Hey, that might be a next item that we add."
Beef jerky is a really high commodity in the field. That's something you might want to look at. You know how we all feel about
Oh
beef
yeah.
jerky. Beef jerky. Not a lot of people
Oh.
get into the. You know how we feel about it. It's like that's a whole nother show. That's like you like it.
That's if you a bro tip, if you have an M16 with the A2 buttstock, the cubby hole in the back, you take the cleaning kit out so you could put beef jerky in there.
Really, wow, that's good to know. That's a good to know tip for any what. That's good to know.
Yeah, if any of
So,
those National Guard guys out there are watching, at the Capitol, yeah, you could put beef jerky in the buttstock of your rifle. All right.
but yeah, peace out, you guys. And while we're talking about that, I hope everybody is trying their best to be peaceful in such a
Yeah.
crazy situation. It calls for us to think about this in a way that we haven't thought about before. So I just want to say we're praying for our National Guard troops that are out defending our capital and defending wherever they are. God bless our troops wherever they are. So, going, moving on. So, when did you guys decide to make it a business?
Uh, I decided when after my heart attack, I had to take a time off from working with being an EMT with the ambulance company, and when I had it, I drove myself to the ER at the VA ER, and that's when they told me I had a heart attack. So after that, they shipped me to go live in San Diego for 6 months. It's called the Aspire Center. It's pretty cool. It's open to all veterans, but you do have to kind of apply for it or have a case manager apply for it for you, and it's awesome. It's like part hospital, part college, and I learned a lot about entrepreneurship there, and that's where I did a lot of growth and working alongside other combat veterans and I very selected specialized training there. And the prototype jars that I used, I sent those to my friends working in EMS. So there's EMS personnel that tested it on their shift that just the right amount of peppers come out and it's easy to carry around. And they loved it too. So that's, not a lot of things are open when you're working the night shift. And if you have ingredients just to make your shift go by a little bit better or your lunch break go by a little bit better, then yeah, life sucks a little bit less.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I Milt
So,
gets mad at me because I have a bag for everything and I keep certain things in the bag.
mhm,
So if I have like a field bag or a bag that I go hiking with or whatever, I have seasoning in there because
nice.
you never know.
Yep.
You never know.
Nice. There
Okay,
you go.
so so what are your plans for your product now? I know you're starting off small, as you know. Scaling is important when you're doing as an entrepreneur. You don't want to go too far too fast, or you want to develop your products and make sure that you have just the right product before you sell it out to the masses. And On already discussed, how he tested and
Yes.
developed his product as as time went by. But when did you know that it was time to actually do it, when it was actually time to get started? Like, this is what we're doing.
Uh, yeah, there's I can't pull it out of my pocket and show you, but that when it just feels right.
Yeah,
That's
it's like when
that's it.
it's like
Just when it feels right.
it's like this is what it is, and it is when it feels right, because it's like I don't know, it's like I started a very small business. It's gonna be online. We're developing it right now. It's very cool. But it's small to my scale and small where I can manage.
Okay, well, I
Go ahead.
oh, it's where you can manage it. Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah.
besides an answer where it feels right, I think another one, a more solid answer. Uh, okay, so I was working full time, maybe a few months ago, at somewhere else. But when I was at that job, notifications would come up on my phone like, "Hey, we have another order for peppers," or "Hey, our labels, we need to do the labels for the big jar." And when I was at that full time job, in the back of my mind, I'd be thinking about improving the pepper company, or now we have customers waiting, and I would feel so bad when I would sell the jars that we're holding for a customer to somebody else because they say, "Oh yeah, just give it to me next week," and then, oh, somebody wants to buy one now. And that, all that just piled on, just having waiting customers and thinking about my business when I was supposed to be at my real job. That's when it's the right time to fully commit
Okay.
to your new
That's it.
career.
Oh wow. That's good. So let's talk about commitment, because commitment is a big issue with entrepreneurs. It's like, you have to put in some work with everything. What it's my saying is, if you
Yes.
build it, it will come. It's gonna come if you build it, and if you build it consistently. What are your tips for building your business consistency? What's something you had to do in your business consistently to make it successful?
Oh, okay. I'm actually in this business with two other friends. One is my childhood friend who's also our photographer, Ivan, and the other one is another army combat vet, Big Mike. He was former infantry machine gunner in the army, airborne guy. So it's just
Wow.
us three cooking the peppers, and one of the things that really help us three is before I make going back to the meditation thing, before we make difficult decisions or decisions that require a lot of resources, we actually train or work out before we make that decision together. Like, for example, all three of us can't be at one place at a time, so I meet up with one of them. And for example, Ivan used to play soccer, so I would run miles. Oh, what was it? Like maybe like 3, 4 miles with him first, because he's really good at running, and he makes me a faster runner too. And then after we run and exercise, then we meet about the peppers and decide on it. And with Mike, he's really big and strong. I've rolled jujitsu with him before too, before making difficult decisions about the company. So we use exercise and martial arts to get more oxygen in the brain and just to clear our palate of our regular lives before making this, decision for the company, which is going to steer our lives too. So that's one thing that, yeah, exercising together to a deeper way to connect, building camaraderie. But just
Yeah.
luckily, I started off with a good unit, so yeah.
That's excellent. That is excellent. So we're gonna wrap this up here in a minute. We had a, oh my gosh, this was like really enlightening. I'm like thinking of questions I could ask you for lunch because that's really
Oh, okay,
yeah.
cool.
I'm still gonna ask questions. But if you had to tell anybody if they're like on the fence on whether they should turn their hobby into a business, or if they're like, I'm not really sure, what advice would you give to somebody who's just like they're not really sure about,
If they okay, to I guess you could say keep going.
keep going?
Okay, if you're not really sure, then the idea is already there. If you're not sure, then maybe your customers or your clients are sure. Start there. We always, I mean, every time I try not to be too annoying about it, but I'm like, hey, is there anything I could do with the peppers, or any reviews on it and stuff? And you learn more not just about your own product, but you're making a deeper connection with your clients and your customers. If they don't have a lot to tell you, or if they don't have any improvements to give you, or you're just feeling that lack of connection with your clients or customers, then maybe it might be time to redirect or make some modifications. But if your clients and customers are saying good things, and you see them smile and their eyes light up, and you could feel their air getting better and enlightened and feeling better, then hey, maybe you are in the right direction. Just don't quit yet. So just keep going. That
I love
I don't know.
your
That yeah, that sounds about
positivity.
right.
Your positivity is so awesome.
Oh, thank you,
Hello.
thank you. I'm just trying to stay warm right
Yeah,
now.
your positive.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let On go because he's freezing outside. So
Oh no,
you
no,
guys,
I'm
thank
okay.
you
I've
so
been
much
cold
for
before.
joining us for my. On makes me laugh. I just he his energy. The one thing I like about On is that his energy is just so positive, and it's very motivational,
Oh, thank you.
and it helps people get the job done. So I can see like whatever you're doing, you get the job done because that's just the energy you have. So I'm gonna
Oh,
thank you
thank you.
so much for joining us today for Monday Lunch with Doc Funny, episode 5.
Oh, thank you so
And
much for having me for episode 5.
and you guys take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay. All right.